All right, Alan, we have finally made it here. Final exam. I know it's been a long, arduous 4 weeks getting to this point in this dental program, but you made it.
Couldn't wait.
The final test is just a routine exam. It's if you notice anything off or any work needs to be performed, then you'll take care of it. This is Mrs. Harrison. She'll be your guinea pig. I'm kidding. He's done this for 4 weeks. He's ready to be a dentist. No, that's good technique. Yeah, you want to make sure to check the teeth, check the gums. And no worries, these things happen. I mean, we're just dentists, we're not perfect. Just get a little bit of suction in there and she'll be okay. You're fine, right, Mrs. Harrison? Yeah, no, she's fine. So is there anything that you noticed?
Cavity on one of your lower right molars.
Okay, so what course of action would you advise?
Do a little anesthetic.
No, that's great technique. So when you're giving the Novocaine shot, you want to get the needle just as far into the gum as you possibly can, like up to the hilt, if that means anything to you, just all the way. Yeah, you're doing good, Remember, just gentle hands, just gentle like feather fingers, think of it that way, just super, super gentle. Okay, so this does happen sometimes. Sometimes it's hard for the patient to open their mouth wide enough, or sometimes they just don't want to. So go ahead and grab that tool and just kind of help her open it up. So you want to do a little bit more, like keep going. Ideally you want to get her mouth open wide enough so you can put your fist in there. That way you can really work, but close to that as you can, as close as you can. Perfect, doing good. Textbook. Hey, well that's it. Congratulations are in order, I think. You passed, sir.
Good.
I know, right? It's not as hard as people think.
Dr. Feinstein, I am a dentist.
Remind me again, where did you say you're going to be practicing? England, that's right. Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll fit in fine over there. Actually, you're probably too good of a dentist for over there, if I'm being honest. But no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. They'll love to have you. Hey, what's going on, guys? So I realized I haven't done this for a while, and I've been seeing some new faces around here. Well, usernames anyways. So this is VHS on Tape. My name is Keith. On this channel I do horror movie reviews from the 70s, 80s, and 90s because that's what I feel the best decades were. I'm not saying there haven't been more current good horror movies, but those ones just hold a special place in my heart. Also, hair and makeup called out today, so you get the beanie. They normally do, they do a fabulous job, the best job, but they're out, so you get the beanie. Hey, it's that time of year again, friends. That's right, it's time to go to the dentist. Nobody likes that, but I do hope everyone's been flossing. So at its core, this movie is about how to ruin your life in about 2 days. But officially, it's about a successful dentist that goes crazy after he catches his wife cheating on him. It was released on October 18th, 1996, but came out months earlier in Italy, Netherlands, and Sweden. It runs for 92 minutes and was directed by Brian Yunza, I'm not sure, Y-U-Z-N-A. He also directed Society. Well, if you're ready to get drilled, let's get into The Dentist.
Because he's a dentist and capable of anything.
We open up on shadow puppets or hands doing a whole thing. Well, dental office sounds play. Where we meet our boy Corbin Burnson, playing Dr. Alan Feinstein.
There now. Better? Thank you.
Major League and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang are also among his 259 acting credits. Damn! But I'll always think of him as Sean's dad in Psych. That was a great show. Anyways, we find out.
Oh no, I haven't always practiced here.
And for as simple as the title card is, it really works for this movie. White jacket, red blood, it fits. We also learn.
I had a beautiful wife. I had a beautiful home. We had a perfect life together.
Ah, sounds nice.
But underneath that, there was the stench of decay.
Less nice. Turns out he's also in a little legal trouble as well.
All my returns are handled by my business manager. It's just a mistake.
But at least this is a special time of year for the happy couple.
Happy anniversary.
What would I do without you?
Well, somewhat happy couple.
Things are going to hell around here. This has got to stop, Brooke.
Having reason to doubt his wife's fidelity,
Not wearing anything.
Well, I was gonna take a shower after
But
you
you
left.
do you dress like that in front of the pool, man?
he heads back home and gets yet another early gift. The gift of seeing his wife take the pool guy's sweaty hog. Now, I'm not sure what's worse here. Seeing your wife banging the pool guy or seeing your wife blowing the pool guy. I mean, I think it'd have to be blowing, right? Like, if you had to choose one, not like a happy cuckold kind of choosing, but like gun to your head had to choose, I think blowing's worse, right? I mean, it's just, something seems so much more personal about it. We'll table this for now. Anyways, he heads back inside to grab his present, and after correcting the pool guy,
Please, Mr. Feinstein. Doctor! Dr. Feinstein! I am a dentist!
he wants her to show off one of the perks of being married to a dentist.
It means that she has got a perfect bite. Come on, hon. Show him how good your teeth are.
Which would be horrific. I mean, but it turns out that it's all in his head. Cut to his office, and we see that his patients aren't happy about the delay.
Would you like to make another appointment?
I had an appointment.
Now, to be fair, I have waited over an hour to see a doctor that I had an appointment for, and at the time, I really wanted to burn the building down. Now, obviously you shouldn't, but I do think the police would have agreed that arson would have been justified at that point. Anyways, we meet one of his new patients with the perfect porn name,
April Rain.
and her manager, the Hulk. We also meet Jessica, played by Molly Hagan. Most recently, she's in Walker, but I'll always remember her as Angel from Herman's Head. Now, there's a show you forgot existed. Turns out the reason he's late is because he's tracking the pool guy, only discover he's got a full schedule. And instead of taking his anger out on who's responsible, he takes it out on the poor pup. Said it before, I always hate when they kill the dog. The dentist sneaks back into his office where his brain doesn't do him any favors.
You know I don't want you anymore. You bore me.
But he manages to put on his game face. And guys, his first patient couldn't get any better.
Is this your first trip to the dentist?
That's right. This kid is about to be traumatized for life. Let's watch. Actually, before that, do you remember those things that used to be in doctor's offices that were basically just like curved wooden dowels or like metal little things that were curved? That you just push different shaped things along from like one side to the other to another? I used to love those things. Also, before we get to the kid, this young lady comes in.
Couldn't wait, huh?
Oh, I know, no more braces, thank God.
Anyways, back to the start of this kid's lifelong fear of the dentist. Despite the doc's theory,
I think it's important for the patient to enjoy a positive dental experience conducive to continued care.
well, hell, I mean, he's only looking at his teeth today. What could possibly go wrong with that? Also, in case I missed saying it earlier, this review is for all of you that love hearing dentist sounds. I know at least one person out there right now is cringing. You're welcome. While the mom is making small talk, we find out what's on his mind.
Built up quite a practice, Doctor.
I work hard. Too hard to lose it all.
Also, I love that you can just hear the utter defeat in his voice. You know, I mean, mountains of student debt will do that to your soul. This kid didn't stand a chance. Then he does some great victim blaming.
He has to learn to sit still.
As he's trying to dose himself, a nurse walks in and tells him that he should rest for a while. So to calm himself down, he calls his wife. Now, I'm no expert, but I think that was absolutely the right move. You know, just get it off your mind. So to calm himself further, he decides to help out the nurse that said she could handle the appointment just fine by herself. Then he decides to do a little work.
Decay is always busy, so we're always busy.
And he suggests,
Needles really freak me out.
Have you ever had nitrous oxide?
and this is a neat shot here, seeing her in the reflection. Then we cut and meet Detective Gibbs, played by Ken motherfucking Foree. I think it's Foree. If you like horror movies, chances are you've seen him before. I mean, he was in Sleep Stalker, Death Spa, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and 3, and Dawn of the Dead, just to name some. He finds the bullet and shows why he's in charge.
To the lab, check out the neighbors. Cop stuff, huh?
Back at the dental office, Steve, played by the Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, might be hitting on a teenage girl.
You a model? You look like a model. Have you ever done any runway work?
And I can tell she's thinking what we all are. I mean, he's got a business card. That says what he's saying. I mean, he's legit. I can totally trust him.
Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it.
I say he might be hitting on her because he totally stonewalls her to ask about April. Speaking of April, before they get started...
I'm fine. Why don't you take a break?
You don't want me to assist you?
Not necessary.
Then his mind starts playing tricks on him again. Now, I actually just recently had nitrous for the first time, and I have to admit that this is exactly what happened at my appointment. At least the part that I can remember. That's just what happens when you use nitrous. It's a unspoken understanding. Anyways, he starts seeing shit again.
Just like Matt.
Okay, so again, this all lines up with my appointment too. April comes to, and realizing he's screwed, he tries to cover the best he can. He does do a decent job.
She's had a minor reaction to a small dose of nitrous oxide, that's all.
But as Steve helps her outside for some fresh air, others see, and Jessica says,
They're dropping like flies.
before going to check the room. And fills in the other hygienist.
Did you see when the patient left how she left? He did something to her.
In the meantime, the tax man shows up, played by this guy. Oh, come on, you know this guy. You've probably seen him in a ton of stuff, but you've never known his name. Hell, I didn't even know his name until doing this review. He is Ear Bowen? That can't be right. Hang on a second. Oh, there it is. Okay. His name is Earl Bowen, or Bowen. And this dude is one hell of a character actor with 287 credits on his IMDb. God damn! With a fair amount of voice work, including 37 episodes of Bonkers. You remember Bonkers? He also played a lot of doctors, too. Back inside, Steve comes back in with a complaint and says they're suing him. So, I love these lines here.
A lack of respect in a world that goes on ignoring dental hygiene.
Doctor!
I don't know why, but they're great. You know, this keeps ignoring dental hygiene. Like, I mean, it makes sense that's what a dentist would be irritated with, although they would get more business if people do that. Either way, like, I get that's his realm of what would piss him off, but keeps ignoring dental hygiene. That's great. Smartly, they send the rest of the patients home. He also tells the assistants to go home too. This is followed up with a neat montage of him and his wife getting ready. Then she meets him at the office, where he shows her his latest themed room.
Operatory number 4. La Scala.
He asks her to sit, then he hits her with nitrous, and we all know what that means. And he lets her know he knows what she's been doing.
You wouldn't want me to cut out your tongue, would you? You wouldn't be much use to him. Then.
Now, I know there are some people that are absolutely going to hate this next part, and I get it. There is just something about teeth being messed with. I don't know, you know? And he just keeps going.
You want me to show mercy? Not tonight.
They head back home and turn in for the night. The next day, the Popo show up and ask him a few questions.
Do either of you own a firearm?
No.
Then the pool guy shows up, and I love this reveal right here. Ugh, she looks terrible. Hashtag woke up like this. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag. Then the doc acts out his fantasy, but with a knife instead of a gun.
Filthy piece of
Shit!
Then heads into work.
I am an instrument of perfection and hygiene.
Oh yeah, he's completely lost it at this point. That's right.
A dentist, and I have a lot of work to do.
The neighbor who owned the dog comes in for a filling, and...
God.
Also, for those people who don't like needles, that was for you. I know there's at least one person who had a look away right there. You're welcome. I'm doing all sorts of people favors with this video. Plus, it gets better. He goes scorched earth on that tooth. Jessica asked to speak to him, and he doesn't want any talk back today. Not today.
Are you questioning me? I run this office. When I tell you to do something, you do it.
Knowing better, Jessica sends the patient home, which doesn't sit well with the doc.
Not only am I blaming you, I am firing you.
But she's got some news for him too,
I'm gonna report you to the Dental Association.
which causes him to snap even more if that's possible. So Jessica is dead. Get to the cops and they find out where the bullet came from.
Dr. Finestone, a registered owner of a 380 Walther PPK.
Back at the office, a tax man shows up again
See, Dr. Finestone can't keep me waiting. It's in his own interest.
and lets himself back to the rooms. It's definitely worth pointing out that Corbin does a great job of acting just really out of it and distracted in this movie. I do think he's a good actor, and this role he did a particularly good job. We also find out what the taxman is really after.
I don't have to go to my supervisor with this, you know. Lot cheaper to pay me than Uncle Sam.
They come to an arrangement, but then the taxman makes the mistake of bringing up his wife. And this is absolutely horrific. I mean, it's great special effects, but just awful. And it seems safe to say that the taxman gets it the worst so far. The other hygienist asks about Jessica. Well, I don't know. I guess his wife probably can't ever eat anything again. Well, no, she could get dentures. She probably get dentures. I don't know if you can just put your jaw back. Yeah, no, the taxman, he definitely got it worse so far. The other hygienist asks about Jessica and suggests,
Maybe there shouldn't be a rest of the day. Maybe we should close up until things are under control.
but again, he's not having any of that shit today.
Things are under control. Everything is under control.
Get to the cops at the doc's house again, and we get this totally logical line.
Why would he want to shoot a dog? Because he's a dentist and they're capable of anything.
Really? Capable of anything just because they're a dentist? Okay, I know Detective Gibbs doesn't like the dentist. They have this whole thing about he has a tooth that's supposed to get checked out to go down this, but he's capable of anything. He's a dentist. That'd be a hard line to say straight, I guess. They end up finding some blood, so they check it out, then Gibbs decides to literally touch everything. So my theory is that Gibbs really wanted to be a CSI, following his big brother's footsteps. Dan. But it just didn't work out for him. Sure, he's smart, but he just doesn't have the discipline. So he became a cop instead. Now, purely out of spite, when he finds a crime scene, he makes it his mission to touch literally everything possible, just to make it that much harder for the CSIs to do their job. So, really, Detective Gibbs is kind of a piece of shit. I mean, really. Either way, he ends up finding the wife, too. Back at the office, the other hygienist finds Jessica's purse and decides to question the doc about it, but only finds this sorry son of a bitch. Yeah, this is like something out of Hellraiser, right? That's totally one. Doc shows up and decides to trim down his staff a little more. Man, inflation's a killer. Huh? Yeah? Huh? Yeah, I like that one too. And I know you wouldn't actually see the air bubble, but it's a neat visual to put in. So she's dead too, and the doc says he's ready to take off those braces. Now, I'm gonna say something a little controversial here. So I know this chick is supposed to be a teenager in this movie. By the way, this is Virginia Keeney, I think. I never know how to say her name. She was in Ticks. That's a great movie, by the way. But she's 22 in this movie, okay? So, don't freak out. What are they doing with the plaid skirt and the thigh highs? I mean, the skirt, okay. That's somewhat like normal school uniforms. But the thigh highs, that's not standard regulation at all. Now, so what I'm trying to say is that I'm a fan, and again, just keep in mind that she is 22 in real life. So, yeah. Anyway, she heads back, and they get those braces off, and I feel like some of you out there still are not quite on board. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Again, she is 22 in real life. Everyone has their different opinions, but that's just, she's 22, that's a fact, right? And you can't change facts. That's just what it is. So let's all just kind of move past it, all right? Okay. And his delusions start up again, but he's not wrong here.
The rest of your life can only spoil what we've made.
Then he jumps it up to 11 on her.
Can you live with that? I don't think you can.
But in a moment of realization of what he's doing, she uses that to get away. She hides despite what he thinks.
Can't hide. Not from your dentist.
The cat and mouse goes on for a bit, and she ends up helping the tax man who repays the favor. Momentarily. But the doc catches up with her. However, he's not completely illogical.
I'll brush 3 times a day, please.
3 3 times a day.
No candy.
Then the cops show up to find that he left, so that he had to go teach. Well, I'm sure this isn't go off without a hitch.
I want everybody to extract.
I said extract!
The cops show up, but he manages to give them the slip. It's distracted by an opera singer, which gives the cops time to catch up to him. And then we end up where we started, and we hear...
Finestone, it's time for your regular visit.
And then he gets his karma. The end. All ready for some fun facts? Whoop, whoop. They shot this in just 18 days. They only had one giant mouth for the close-up shots, so they had to swap out different teeth for different characters. Glennon Edward Engelman was an actual dentist that killed at least 5 people. He didn't kill them in his office, but he was a contract killer for ladies he knew. What they would do is they would get or raise the life insurance on their partner, then have him kill that partner, and then they would go halvesies. He was not the inspiration for this movie though, apparently. If you ever need to get work done on your front teeth, like up here, getting the Novocaine shot hurts like a bitch. Way more than other teeth. 6 out of 10, I don't recommend. So, is watching this movie a grind? I actually do like this movie. It's kind of slow to start. I know a lot of movies can be. They got to build a character and all that stuff. It's a little slow to get going for me, but it helps that I like Corbin Bernsen, so I just like watching him as an actor. But once it got going, I wasn't expecting some of the really good special effects that they had, and they were good. The plot, as far as for what this is pretty solid. We never find out if the tax man dies. I'm just going to assume out of sheer pain. That looked horrific again. Anyways, but yeah, no, the music is good. Overall, this is a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend checking it out. Down in the description, I have a link where you can check it out for free, as I usually try to do with all my movies I review. If you haven't yet, make sure to check out my last review I did on a movie called Dead Dudes in the House. So yeah, I guess that's it for this time, and have a good one. Yeah, we'll end with that. Have a good one.